friends, and welcome back to our Virginia homestead. If you're new here, my name is Sarah, and to be honest with you guys, I've completely hit a brick wall. So now I'm just trying to get the house ready, Dean ready, and everything for my mom's big day to have her knee replaced. So let me go ahead and get my apron on, because I always feel like I'm ready to get things done when I put it on. And let's get started. So today there's just a lot of real, normal, everyday life happening. All of these dishes are clean, so let's get them put away. Okay, we got that done. So why is this such a dreaded part of the refrigerator? I've got to wash these two crisper drawers and let them dry and get them put back in there. I don't know why, it just is for me. So let's go ahead and get this done. And now, since it's mid-afternoon, I'm gonna go ahead and get some sauce going. Then that way I can make anything from that. I think though what I'm gonna do is make a lasagna for Dean. That'll take him a couple meals while I'm gone. Plus, I can add a little more and I can have dinner tonight as well. I have not sat down and have done any meal planning since we moved here. And that is a big no-no in my book, because just as I knew what I was going to make for day one to put in the fridge for him, I'm like, what are we going to have for dinner? I hate that feeling. It's a horrible feeling. So I need to get back on top of things, but let's start some dinner. My absolute favorite pot to make sauce in has a heavy bottom. You can kind of see that lip there maybe. Yeah, love it. I'm going to be using Azure's crushed tomatoes and diced tomatoes. We haven't gotten our beef share in yet, so until then I'm using this ground beef. I do have some of the Azure Thousand Hills ground beef in the freezer that I did get on our last pickup, but I have 3 pounds of this and I want to use it first. First in, first out. I'm not going to season my ground beef until there's some fat and it's like 3/4 of the way finished cooking. So go ahead and put my lid on that. I'm making a large pot of sauce, so I'm going to use 2 pounds of ground beef. Now, Dean and I made like a little date day on Saturday just to kind of get out, the two of us, and knowing that I'm going to be going away for a couple weeks. So we went antiquing and I found something that I just absolutely love, and he was real happy with it too. As you can see, there's the doorway, the dividing wall, but this is our extended kitchen area. It's still roughed in, but we're working as hard as we can. But we found this cute little table. It's Pembroke style, probably very late 1800s. Now, it wasn't being sold with these chairs because they obviously do not belong to this style table. But these are wooden, not sliding, folding chairs that fold up just like that, so we can put one in the corner when we need to. I love these. These are older as well, but I think they're more like the 50s and 60s. They were made in Pennsylvania, have their stamp right there. I looked it up, but I can't remember the exact information off the top of my head right now. But this is gonna be a great little table for us. Great place to just sit and have coffee, Dean to have his breakfast, or for me to stream our Friday Night Lives from right here. Also, Dean worked really hard because he is a perfectionist, but it does serve me well. He does great work. And he installed 2 cabinets for me because previously at our old house, I was having to go out to the building for extra pantry supplies, my roaster, my dehydrator, all the big items that I couldn't store in our galley kitchen. So here's what he did yesterday. As you can see, my dehydrator is there on the left, my roaster on the right. That is the blender. I don't use it that often because I have a food processor, but I do, like if Dean wants a smoothie or something like that, or if he's not feeling well, I've used it. And then underneath of it, he left enough space because the small chest freezer Mom and Dad are giving us is going to go there, and then its lid will open. And yes, I can reach the roaster and the dehydrator right there. A lot of the stuff that was in the shipping container, in one of the sheds, things like that, I'm having to find new homes for in here. And I can't stand all the buildup on the floors. So until that time, it kind of sits up out of my way. I'm still finding new systems that work for me in the kitchen. That's the main thing. And I've changed it a couple times. But for right now, there's a few more things that need to be taken care of. Dean found our old quilt. This isn't old, but we had it on the bed at the cabin when we were trying to sell the house. So I washed it, and I am just folding it up, kind of putting it to the side, because I think I'm going to use this as a base. I'm going to kind of have some layered quilts and things like that on the new bed in the guest room. I kind of have a vision of what I want that to look like. Okay, so we're at the point where we can add in some seasonings. As you can see, there's still some fat in there, so now's the time. Okay, I heard someone say one time, measure with your heart, because I do not use measuring spoons or anything like that when I'm making my sauce. So I know we like a lot of garlic. This is garlic powder. I used the rest of my fresh minced garlic last night, so I'm going to be very generous with the garlic, completely covering all of my ground beef. This is oregano. I want the taste in there, but not overpowering. Just do like that. Onion. A bit more. This is my homegrown parsley. It's been dried and ground up. I had to think of the word for a second. My homegrown basil. Now, we love basil, so I treat basil the same way I do garlic. That's why I say you can never have too many basil plants. And because I'm feeling a little fancy, I'm going to use just a pinch. And when I say pinch, I mean a pinch. And this is Herbes de Provence. Just gives it a tiny little sweetness there. And some white pepper. Okay, this is going to look a little overwhelming when you first see it. You may think, wow, Sarah, that's way too much. But guess what? All of that fat in there is going to absorb the herbs. And then that way it's going to coat the beef. Okay, now you can see that the beef has totally been coated in the herbs. And there's no fat left. Why in the world am I going to chop vegetables and saute them in oil when I actually have animal fat to work with? And as we all know, beef fat is tallow, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm also going to add some dried green bell peppers and some dried red bell peppers. Yes, you will notice that today I did not chop any fresh garlic. I did not chop any onion, nor any peppers. Why? Because I'm trying to get a lot done, a lot prepared. And this is what I would consider my fast night sauce. Just because everything is dry. Go ahead and add a can of diced tomatoes, 2 cans of diced tomatoes. Okay, now I have 3 cans of crushed tomatoes. Now don't throw away your cans when they have bits of tomato in there. I know you've gotten them out as best you can. I just turn the hot water on very, very lightly. And I get the bits out just so that it's enough that it has coated the can. And I'll just shake it around and share it with the next can so that it doesn't create like a watery sauce. I don't like watery sauce. See, now I've got a clean can. But if you're anything like me, make sure you do this over the sink. Now you have a little bit of tomato juice. Okay, I'm going to turn this down just a tad, put the lid on, and then just let it cook down. And I have plenty of things to do while I'm waiting for this to cook down. Too long ago if he could have chocolate chip muffins just like a little kid, and I was like, absolutely not. Chocolate chips are way too expensive. I'm not doing it. Well, now that I'm going away for 2 weeks, I felt kind of bad, so we're going to make him some chocolate chip muffins. This is going to be it until Christmas. So of course I'm using my Better Homes and Gardens cookbook. I'm actually using the 1990s version, which isn't old. The important thing is that he is getting homemade treats once again, muffins, sweets, whatever you call them. I still have not gotten used to having eggs from the store. Feels very weird. Next season, I'm looking forward to it already. Dean's planning coops, and I am planning chickens. How many, what type, weather, all those things. Gotta take this heat into consideration. All right, I'm just gonna let this mix. When it gets, you know, kind of mixed, in between, I will just go ahead and throw in a cup of chocolate chips. That is plenty of chocolate chips. Okay, so the oven is preheating to 400. I have the baking cups into the tin, and I'm just going to put my chocolate chip muffin batter in there now. This probably would be a good time to point out that, you know, if I had some pre-made muffin batter, just the plain pre-made batter, I could have added these chocolate chips. I mean, granted, it didn't take a lot of time to make it, but I mean, that's kind of like a dump and go, especially for, you know, those of you that are working outside the home. You know, just, that's all I do is take a batter mix, you know, put it in a bowl and kind of just combine all the dry ingredients, and then you have a pre-made mix. That's much better and saves you some, it's my oven, and saves you some money in the long run. So I was really good about doing that. And it seems like when you have something like a move or, you know, an illness or death in the family, something that just kind of takes your life completely by surprise, it's just easier to kind of get sidetracked for a while. And I think that's what happened with me. You know, we've been focused on the kitchen so much because it really is, like, I guess it would be the most important room in our house. And so much work goes on here and in here that we really have been placing a focus on it. But with Mom having her surgery and, you know, just getting reestablished and all of that, it just kind of got me out of my groove. And I need to get back in it because it makes you feel really cruddy. So I'm working on that. And actually, me going away for 2 weeks to be with Mom and Dad is kind of helping me get back into that groove, because now I have to get up and prepare meals ahead of time for my husband, because I want him to eat well while I'm gone. Now, normally these would make 12 regular sized muffins, but I have an extra large tin here because Dean likes having, you know, a whole breakfast muffin. So that works fine for me. So let me go ahead and pop these in the oven for 20 minutes, and I'm going to take you outside to let you look at the tomato plants that came from Azure a couple weeks back. Remember how pitiful? Hi, Jack. Hi, Jack. I know. I know. I can bring you a treat in a little while. Hi. This is Jack. And there is our little mama right there. She is so tiny. I think I need to go in and get her a treat. I picked up some of that kitten formula pate at the store because I had read that it is good to give like kitten formula to lactating cats. And she's so tiny anyway, and looking so malnourished. So I gave them that as a snack. I'm pretty certain that Jack is the daddy. There were 4 cats out here when we moved out here, and now we're down to these 2. And of course, yes, we've named them Jack and Freckles. It's because her with all these different colors just smattered across. It just, I don't know. We saw her set it and stuck. It stuck. But I am so looking forward to trying to get a peek at their kittens. I've seen them once, but I want to get them on camera. So is naming your barn cats akin to naming your chickens? And yes, that is a trap you see there in the back. I was trying to go ahead and trap Jack. He's the orange one. He's the daddy. And I was trying to trap him just so we could take him down to our vet and have him neutered. So while they're finishing up there, let's go around back and check on those tomato plants. Take a look at this. This is the indeterminate cherry. And look at this basil at the bottom. This was also the basil that came from Azure. Look at all those pretty blooms. We're gonna have fall tomatoes for sure. And then this is the hybrid. I need to fix this somehow. Well, I know how to fix it. I'm just saying I need to do it before I go, especially. And it has some basil down here. It's looking nice as well. I'm just gonna look at that. I was so excited. I don't see any, well, yeah, maybe I don't see any blooms yet, but they're coming. Told Mom we were not eating leafy greens from the store anymore. So I'm growing some. This is Merlot lettuce here, and this is Arctic King. And I sewed them in a very thick band so that I could clip them all as baby greens. And still my faithful herbs over here. And more leafy greens planted over here. I think this is like the butter crunch lettuce. And this has been Dean's project. It's been a couple days, but I'm going to be very careful because both days he has spotted a copperhead. And unlike bull snakes in Colorado, copperheads are venomous.
But I did find out what happened to Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh, stop.
For you older folks who might get that. Anyway.
You calling us older? What's wrong with you?
No, I said you older folks. I didn't say us older folks.
Yeah, this was just kind of a burn pit. And we're going to fill it back in. Dean's going to fill it back in, smooth it out, because we're having a big play yard installed out here, fencing for the dogs.
Yeah, this stuff I didn't want it to rot down.
Well, some of it
won't. They're gonna
won't.
have to dig down and put the posts in, and it's coming right through this area. So.
Well, that concrete won't rot down. All right, let's go back up to the house and see what we can see.
Kitties.
Are your eyes open?
I don't know. I can't see them, honey. It's all movement.
Well, don't.
There they are. I see somebody moving. Hi there. I see a foot.
Eyes open?
Eyes are open. Hi.
Don't call it out if Mama doesn't want that. Can you get a picture of him though?
Can you get that sweetheart? Back there a little bit. But...
And I think before I go, I'm going to be planting some collards and some Swiss chard and probably some of those non-bunching onions. Dean will like that. But that's really all I have for now. That's what I've been doing. Just stuff around here and prepping food like crazy. But we're getting there. And the next room that we're really going to focus on is going to be the guest room. I thank you very much for being here with me on our Virginia homestead. We will get this homestead established. We will get back to our chickens, our gardens, all those types of things. So until I see you next time, take care.